Hello, and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, I'm exhausted. And let me tell you why.
You're always exhausted.
I'm normally a little faded, right, by the time we do it. And here's the thing. Listeners of the podcast know that I'm an educator. Our students started this week, and I always forget how hard this hits me, right? Like, it's not... Like, the students aren't out of control. They're lovely. They're great to work with, all this stuff. But I put so much energy into each day that I do it. Yesterday, which we had to reschedule, I had like 12,000 steps leaving the school. Like, and that was not, like, a lot, but I was like... at lunchtime, I had to drive down to, like, Dunkin' Donuts, get a tea, just so that way we're able to...
You went to Dunkin' of all places to get tea?
It was quick tea. Quick and easy tea. I needed a caffeine kick. Good God, I was hurting. Because I was realizing at the end of the day, my voice was raspy. Just because of how much I was talking. I'm like, man, I spent a month, like 6 weeks not talking, like hardly at all. Except for the podcasts. Like, I'm not used to, like, talking 8 hours a day to students. Oh, and trying to get louder than them. Woo! That's intense.
Yeah, no, I haven't been that busy. I'm nice and comfortable. My wife is out of town. We're looking forward to going on a vacation next week. So when you guys are hearing this live, I'll already be back from my vacation, which is kind of fitting for us because we're recording ahead of time. We're still in the last week of July.
Yep.
And this is the third episode of August.
That's right.
So the thing I'm going to talk about outside gaming is actually what I'm going to be doing in the first week of August.
That's
so
right.
There you guys go. So it's kind of good fitting. We were lucky enough we were able to record because we thought we were going to have back-to-back weeks where we're going to be off, but we were able to schedule today because you're like, yeah, I have this thing going on yesterday, right. So you're like, maybe I could do Tuesday, but we'll see.
I mean, let me just flat out say it. You know, both my kids and my wife have birthdays, all within 8 days of each other, yeah. Right? So we call it the gauntlet because that's all the birthdays. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, so I had to take her out, and I told you flat out, no, my wife's more important, so we
You didn't tell me that flat out. You messed with your wife about the podcast.
No, I told you before I told her.
I was already scheduling you to be off.
You already assumed we were going to be off. Like, you knew exactly what I was planning.
Yeah.
She didn't know that yet. So I had to tell her. In a very So, listeners of the podcast, I'll just tell you what I did, because I knew I was going to take it off anyway. And so, she brought it up. She was like, hey, so, like, what do you want to do for my birthday? I'm like, oh, that's Monday, isn't it? She's like, yeah. I was like, you probably don't want me filming the podcast then, huh? And she just gave me that look like, oh, you dead. It's so good. I was like, don't worry, I already rescheduled it. No worries. We were prepped to, just in case we needed wiggle room, to cancel this episode.
Oh, yeah.
But we were able to do it on a Tuesday, which is great.
Yeah, and what I like about it, too, is, like, we record ahead enough for this reason. That's why we call it a bubble. It lets us, we're still in July. We're recording the podcast of August. Mm-hmm. But that's because I'm going to take a week off in August, which would have been our top 8 debate week.
Sure.
We may have been off this week, which is the last week of July. July's done, so we're working on August now. And it just gives us a little bit of wiggle room because you're starting school. You have family obligations. Your gauntlet of birthdays, for that matter.
Yep.
Not to mention all the trips my wife is making me go on lately. And it's funny because I got one trip.
I love how you say it in a way where it's like, it's going to be so tough.
I get to enjoy it, but I'm a homebody. I like being home. I don't care. I can go out and it's fun. Like Wrigley Field is something I've always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. That is fine. Like if you're going to take me to a baseball game, I'll leave the house to go to a baseball game.
Sure.
But honestly, I'm not a huge vacation kind of guy. My idea of a vacation is going to like a lake or a mountain and just relaxing in nature.
What I've learned from you is that unless there's a specific reason to go out, like a concert or something like that, you'd rather be here.
Yeah,
whereas like the difference is with me, it's like I'd rather be up and about.
Yeah.
And then I have to have a reason to be home normally.
My kind of idea is like just something like I like going to the lake and fish. That was one of my favorite things to do growing up. I loved going camping. I loved going to cabins and stuff like that. I love to be in the mountains, go on hikes and stuff like that in mountain range. Where we live, it's too damn hot to hike. Yeah. It's ridiculously hot. In crazy monsoon season this year. We've been getting flooded everywhere.
Yeah, thunderstorms left and right. electricity went out at my work yesterday.
It went out over here. Yeah.
Thankfully, the students were already gone, but like one loud thunderclap, and then all the lights flickered on and off for a little bit. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I found that funny because I'm like sitting there and my power went out and it was down, and not long. It was only down for maybe a couple minutes or so. But I was sitting there like, well, it's a good thing we're not recording today because it would have been like right around the time we're getting ready to start recording.
It worked out for us.
I was in the middle of playing NCAA football on my PlayStation, and I was like, well, guess I'm going to go read.
I know. I felt bad because after I left work, it was already after that, so I ran to my car. I was like, I don't feel like being in the rain. And I was like, I don't have to be home. So I drove home, and I sat in the driveway for like 30 minutes waiting for everybody else to show up. And then my wife, who took the day off, she went to go spend time around the city. She pulled up, and then I noticed her and my daughter were in the car. I was like, well, where's my son? And she's like, oh, he's inside. Like, oh, okay, well, give him a call. Let's go get dinner. So she calls him, and he's like, and she was like, like, what have you been up to? He was like, I don't know. It's like, well, what do you mean you don't know? He's like, I don't know. The power's been off for like an hour now. I'm like, I sat out in the car for 30 minutes while he was in the house, no power. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, poor kid. I mean, he's 16. He ain't that poor. But
and the fact that he had a phone, so probably didn't bother him all that much.
He went and found his portable battery just so he could have his phone on it the entire time. Because that's the priority, right? You know.
Yeah.
Parenting, it is what it is.
Well, with that being said, we have an interesting episode for you guys. We're doing a board game breakdown, and this is a first for us. Why don't you tell them what we're doing?
We are breaking down a mechanism for once. And we've always been cautious about breaking down something that's in the hundreds. Yeah. And we've done it maybe once or twice before.
Quite a few times, actually. That's why we had to make a rule.
Some publishers and some designers, and it just takes a while. But one of our listeners, I think it was Board Game Bard,
yep.
Was it? Gave us the recommendation, well, why don't you find a mechanism that you can do? And we're like, I don't know if there is any. And he threw out one called Dutch Auction, or Auction Dutch style. Mm-hmm. And so we'll break that down here in a bit. And there's only, how many games were there?
It's like 53, I believe.
53, and that's including expansions
52.
Too. So 52 minus some expansions that we're going to be skipping. So, yeah, that's one that's a very reasonable amount.
And I also pulled up a couple, like, reprinted ones just to showcase them for you guys to understand.
Yep.
There's, like, one, it's a Reiner Knizia. It's called, like, the Merchants of Amsterdam that just recently got reprinted, I think, by Allplay or Bitewing, one of those two. And it's supposed to be, like, a space game now. But it's literally the same thing.
Yep, literally the same thing. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's why he has 800 titles. He actually only designed like 10 games, and they just reprinted it.
Yeah, exactly.
80 times each.
Which we'll be talking about here in a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Yeah. But before we get into today's episode, Daniel, tell us that news.
So there's some interesting bits of news out there. I'm going to start with the one I just kind of hinted at, just because it's a quick, simple thing, because I'm going to hit people with some heavy hitters here in a little bit.
Yep.
But the quick, simple one here is 25th Century is resuming their reprinting of classic Reiner Knizia games. Yep. They have announced 2 more Knizia games to be released with EN02 art, which the new version of Raw is gorgeous. It's the best looking version of Raw. And to the point where I will actually want to get a copy for myself because that's how much I enjoyed it. If I wasn't doing the 1-for-1 and you have a copy and Gamehead Geek has a copy, and I think, damn it, Dom is thinking about getting a copy.
Probably. It's a great game.
It's a fantastic game, but it's like, it's good. But they are reprinting Raw, the dice game, speaking of Raw, under Knizia's line with EN02 art, which is going to look a lot like the base game that they just reprinted, which is awesome. If you can find a regular copy of the new one from 25th Century, it is perfectly fine. You'll love it. But if you can find the deluxe version of it, that thing is just through the roof, those thick, chunky cardboards. So looking kind of at this one, they did really good job on that with the dice and everything. So Raw the dice game is the one. And the other one is Rhinelander, which is like a area majority, area control style game based on the Rhineland in Germany. Looks interesting. Reiner Knizia, area control. You might actually play an area control game.
I don't hate them.
No.
I'm just so bad at them.
I just find it funny because we've played an area control Knizia game that was kind of neat just recently, not too long ago, within the last year, that you owned. I think it was called Samurai or something like that. It's actually getting a reprint too, but that's not part of my news.
Lovely, yeah, that's a great game.
Guess by who? They're rechanging the name from Samurai to something else. It is still in Japan. It is by Keymaster, the people who brought Parks.
Oh, now I'm interested. That's going to be beautiful.
I'll have to show you that one later.
I am holding their standards high. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, so
go on.
They are remastering it. It looks really cool. It's more about like stuff that you would find in Japan. So instead of like samurai fights and stuff like that, you'll have like the lucky cat figure that you could find, and there's a couple other stuff, but it looks really good. It looks really beautiful from what I saw of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I really like that game. It's so cool, and if they're gonna make a better version of it, maybe I'll sell my old one.
Yeah, I'll have to show it to you, but it looked really nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Kinesia is getting a revamp, mostly from 25th Century, but as I mentioned, Keymaster is also doing one.
Speaking of new games, I'm going to talk about a game. I've been really, really surprised by Happy Camper games lately. We played Too Many Rabbits not too long ago, which was fine.
It was fine. I enjoyed it.
But we were enamored with Trio. And
that one's so fun.
Yeah, it's so good.
How do you make a Go Fish game that fun?
Right, exactly. And so, I was enjoying a lot of what they do, and I noticed they're keeping with the same style. Small deck of cards, decent game.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
This new game that they just announced and that they're releasing, I believe, at Gen Con is called Jungo.
Those monkeys look adorable.
They really do. Super adorable monkeys. It's basically like a new, almost Scout-esque game.
Yeah.
Where you are hunting bananas, essentially. I mean, it's a jungle.
Yeah.
That's it for the theme, really. You're putting cards in order, but you're trying to also put them... your hand doesn't change positioning.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the double-sided cards, which Scout does have, but you're either playing cards, slowly ladder climbing, trying to get better and better combinations, or putting cards into your hand in different places, so that way you can do that.
Yeah.
You can only play cards that are next to each other, and they have to be like of a kind or different
a suit
like
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So Jungo, I'm very excited, and I'm curious to see more about it. Again, I just want to reiterate one of the reasons I'm so excited about Happy Camper in general is because Jason, I think Schneider or something.
Something like that.
I forget his last name, but he was like the lead developer at GameRight.
Yeah.
And throughout a lot of years that they printed out some fantastic games. So if he's taking that same idea into it, I'm in. I'm game.
It's funny because after I've already made my news, I just saw a new GameRight game that is in the world of Dragonwood.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
know about that.
it's on our Instagram. I'll have to show it to you. But I just was looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I didn't put it down on my news because I have other news here. But yeah, no, I don't disagree.
I'll write that right now.
I think it's called like Dragon Island or something like that.
I'm in.
But my only thing is like Jungo looks way too close to Trio. Just the way that art style fits is like, I'm going to get those mixed up every now and then. I wish they changed it up a little. Kind of like Too Many Rabbits was different enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so my next bit of news, this is a bigger piece of news here that we were talking about. Again, I get a lot of my information from Board Game Wire and Board Game News. I will try to send a link to the article that I'm about to reference here in the description down below. But this is a big one because CGE just announced they're doing a Harry Potter Codenames. Yep. And we were talking about it in our group chat when it was announced from our friend Damn It Dom. He was showing it to us.
Yeah, which I was fairly certain that there was already one.
I think it was the duet version.
I might be... Yeah, it's either that or I was thinking something along the lines of like... Because I know that they've made other Harry Potter as games that are like, the Harry Potter Munchkin or whatever it is, or Harry Potter,
No, but they
Strike.
They did do a Harry Potter, but it is from the duet line. It was a two-player only, where you're traveling basically around the world kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And the Wizarding World. Now this is a full Codenames version of like Simpsons and stuff like that with Harry Potter.
Cool.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because there is a big swell right now online about reviewers boycotting CGE based on the Harry Potter license, and not just because of the Harry Potter license. They're boycotting them because they're using the Harry Potter license. So they're saying they're just not going to review Harry Potter. They're not going to review any more CGE games for the time being. So Lost Ruins of Arnak Big Box or SETI expansion, and these are not small reviewers that are calling them out.
Shut Up and Sit Down was one.
So the big thing about it is because of J.K. Rowling's stance on trans rights, which that is her opinion. Fine. I don't agree with it.
It's not fine, but
no, but it's her opinion.
Yeah,
she's allowed to have her opinion.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I believe in trans rights. I believe in gay rights. I believe in all these things because I believe in this fact. Does it bother me? No. Does it affect my life in any way? No. Are they consenting adults? Are they hurting each other? Or is everything up on the up? Then if all that's true, then why do I care? They are allowed to live their life how they want to live their life.
Right.
I don't want them telling me how to live my life, so I have no way to tell them how to live their lives.
That's right.
But there is a big swell, and it's Shut Up and Sit Down was one. No pun included. 3-minute board games. Covray, Shelf Stable podcast are boycotting CGE games. And a big one that they mentioned is because of her anti-trans beliefs and using her money from these fees that she gets from licensing it to put into that. Also, a big thing too is CGE is basically on fire. They've blocked any and all commenting on all social media posts on Harry Potter as well, from Blue Sky and stuff like that on Instagram.
Yep.
But it's not just podcasters and social media experts and reviewers. There is artists and designers that are calling them out. Eric Lang has called out CGE. The Tabletop Game Design Association has called out CGE for this. Bess Sobel, an artist from Wingspan and other games, the Cascadia, has called CGE out on this one. And so it is... There is a groundswell right now that CGE may have to address this at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Because that's where they wanted to release this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And which is unfortunate, because, it's not that we wish ill on CGE.
No.
Right.
We love CGE games. I like Lost Ruins of Arnak.
And there's a lot of people who growing up loved the Harry Potter IP.
I'm one. My wife's one.
Right.
We're going to Harry Potter World when we're at Universal.
It's just a shame that, it's kind of a storm that's hitting CGE at once just because of that decision. I don't think that there's any solution necessary, and I'm not even going to try to offer a solution.
I can't even offer a solution.
Because I 100% agree with why they're doing it.
Yeah, no.
I just feel bad for CG at the same aspect that it's they're trying to get a really big license on a Codenames. They've done it with others.
And they've had the Harry Potter license before, but it's you kind of got to read the room as well. So, I said, she's allowed to have her opinion. That is fine. That is her right. I don't have to agree with it, and I don't.
Yep.
And so I understand why all these podcasters are doing it as well. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way. I don't want to touch really Harry Potter right now. Like I said, I'm going to the Universal Studios, but I'm already going to be there, so I'm not going to buy anything there that's Harry Potter licensed merch. I'm going because I want to go check out the new Epic Park because I want to see the Universal Monster.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Genuinely sounds awesome.
That's the kind of thing that we're dealing with, but... Good on them. They stand their ground. Good on them. I like the fact that there are designers that are calling it out too. So so
it's pretty big. All right. With that being said, my next piece of news is that there was a new game from Indie Board and Cards that was announced that actually struck my fancy. It's much bigger than I normally would do it. This is called Journeys Afar, the Kaitsuki or something like that. Kaitsueki.
I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, it was just announced recently by Indie Board and Cards, and it is an open world game designed by the designer of Western Legends. And the way this works is the Kaitsuki is I guess it's like a road that lets you go through portals and go to these alternate worlds. Each of these worlds is made up of a player board that looks like a giant oval, and it looks like kind of almost like a globe map of the world. And then you have a rectangular bottom where you have the mechanisms and what's specific about it, and each one is kind of like its own game. It looks wild. I mean, it's an intriguing premise. I was reading a lot of the different worlds and their factions. One of them's a press your luck kind of thing. One of them's kind of like a gambling thing because it's the I think they called it the tourist trap is what what it was. One of them is kind of an area control thing. And it was this is really intriguing. I don't know if it's going to bring out the same prominence as Western Legends does, where everyone can kind of do their own thing. This looks like a little bit more involved in that, but I mean, the art was really pretty. The boards themselves actually look really intriguing, and that premise is just cool looking. So, yeah, that'll be going to Kickstarter soon. You can sign up if you search for, again, Journeys Afar, AFAR, and you should be able to find it. Katsuiki is KETSUEKI. And if you check that out, you should be able to be notified when they launch.
It's also kind of interesting on that aspect of it too, because there's actually a book that's kind of like that, where you're going into the different worlds and stuff like that. So I was like, that's interesting, because it's like different portals.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
Cool.
So my next bit of news here is a big one, because this company is basically trying to be the tiny epic Asmodee, as they called it out.
Right.
They are buying a lot of stuff. Tycoon Games is just continuing their acquisition spree.
Let's hope we can get a sponsorship from them. That'd be great.
Yeah. The big thing about them now is they just got Colt Express, Living Force, and Lewis and Clark: The Expedition. You can see it right over my shoulder over here. We're both fans of most of these games. You like all three of these games. I'm ambivalent to the third one, which, spoiler alert, that's what we're going to be talking about next week, is Colt Express.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting on that one. Tycoon Games did acquire these three lines. Their strategy is about picking up evergreens rather than picking up companies like Asmodee did. So they got the Tiny Epic line, but they didn't. Well, no, they bought all of Gameland. So they have they've bought companies. They have Everdell. They just ended up picking up
Living Forest.
No, what is the one? Canvas. They just bought that from Road to Infamy. So they're picking up all these different little games, basically making their library look pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was it. Tycoon Games. I got one more after this.
All right. The next one I want to talk about is that Gen Con is coming up this week, right? And Gen Con, for those who don't know, how did you find our podcast? But secondly, thirdly, Gen Con is the biggest in North America, biggest board game
And
convention.
the thing is, when you hear this, Gen Con will be over.
Yeah. When you hear the recording of it, right? But Gen Con is releasing, every year they release new games. I just wanted to point out a couple that I just thought sounded interesting. Which, by the way, there is a link on BoardGameGeek.com where Eric Martin posts dude is amazing for doing this.
Holy
the
crap.
fact that he does like a preview list, it's like 600 something games
of
games that are either for
where
sale
does he
or demo.
have the time?
Right, exactly. And so it's just like one of them that I thought would be worthwhile of bringing up is that apparently they're going to have a demo for a prototype for the expansion for Freedom Underground Railroad.
Yes.
Yes, so that's cool.
I'm looking forward to that, other than the fact that Academy Games is on my list right now.
Yeah, you ain't happy with them. There's also Terrible Quest, which sounds hilarious.
That's the...
Terrible Quest.
That's all play, right?
Yeah, it's all play. Which, again, I get your reaction, but there's something about tearing games that it's better than rolling right in my mind somehow. Like, there's something so satisfying about tearing things in certain way. Sounds cool. Then there's Compile 2, which just went to Synapsis Games or something like that. Used to be Greater Than Games.
Yes.
They're printing out the newest version, fully compatible.
Synapsis also bought another game from
Greater Than Games, yeah.
From Greater Than Games.
Medium.
Medium. That's the other one, yeah.
Exactly. So, and there was another game that sounded really interesting, just called String Theory, where you have like these posts and different things, and you're actually wrapping strings around certain things to, I don't know what you're doing specifically. All I heard was that, and I'm like, that sounds cool. That sounds like something I want to try. I don't know what it is, but I'm in. That sounds like a good toy factor.
Nice.
So that is just like a few of like the very, very
vast many
hundreds of games.
I know I'm getting one of my Gen Con pre-orders coming in here soon.
Yep, too many games, as Illuminous just said.
Yeah, I'm getting the new Flip Tunes from Thunderworks game. I did pre-order.
Oh yeah. Flip Tunes does look cool.
I like the designer because I really like cartographers, and his other one I believe is Stone Spine Architect behind me here.
Yep.
Jordan something. Yeah, so I like his stuff so far. So I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. It's a quick little deck building kind of in the vegetable stock like line of things, like light little deck building kind of thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, my last bit of news is a fun bit of news here because GameFound is pushing to kick out Kickstarter to be the #1 game company out there. They just purchased Indiegogo, so that is kind of interesting because Indiegogo is actually the grandfather of crowdsourcing. It was actually the first one before Kickstarter came around. Tabletop used to use Indiegogo back in the day. So it is a big one, and the big thing about this one is they're going to keep it as a separate company. But the reason why they want to do that is they want to put the board gaming stuff just straight on GameFound, but they want to be able to kickstart or Indiegogo or crowdfund other things, such as like using RPG style YouTube videos and stuff like that. And so they were saying that it's to develop different services is how they describe it, that they want to develop different services. And what's nice about it too is they can use it, people who are searching for certain things on Indiegogo, they will actually be able to find the crowdfunding on GameFound for the board games and stuff like that. Oh, this is a certain RPG style game. I can go over here and look at the crowdfunding over here for this thing. So it is interesting the fact that they're doing this, and they're going to keep them as separate entities, one for other types of services and GameFound basically for RPGs and basic for board games and stuff like that. So
basically board games are that much of a stronghold in the industry, right?
Yeah, especially for the funding sources and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty neat about that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Awesome. And the last piece of news that I wanted to bring up is one that it's only a technicality, but I'm still going to say it's still big news for us. Technically, Daniel and I are going on tour throughout this year. And what I mean by that is we talked a little bit about it, that we are going to different stores all around New Mexico. We more or less finished up all of the Albuquerque region, which is the most of the stores that we're going to be doing. Now
we still need to hit Roswell.
We still need to go to Roswell for the southern part of New Mexico, and then the northern parts of New Mexico, like Taos, Santa Fe, Los Alamos, Farmington, Grants, all of those, which we will be doing sometime later this year, normally during like longer breaks, like when we have like a week off, fall breaks and whatnot. You and I are planning on going that. So keep an eye on our Instagram. We'll probably say something about it, and if you want to meet up with us, if you happen to be listening, hit us up, and we'll be happy to do so.
That's it? Our world tour? That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't mention the bigger part, too?
What about it?
If you want to, you can meet us at a Board Game Geek Con in November. We will be there as media. So if you want to join us and say hi, hit us up on Instagram or email, and we could try to play some games up there.
We need to find a way to do a live episode sometime during that. You know how much I like doing these live episodes. They're so fun.
We're not going to have a lot of time, though.
We're not, but I need to find a way to do it.
Me and David Dahmer are going for playing board games, because there's games that we don't know that we want to play.
I am, too.
No, you're going to...
The whole way up there,
excuse my language on this. We're going there for you to whore yourself.
Sir, this is a family episode. No, I go up there to talk to publishers to see if they're interested in publishing games. There's no confusion about that. So yes, hopefully I will be able to arrange something.
Also, we're going to go to a hockey game. That's a big thing too.
That would be cool. Yeah, I am looking forward to that.
I'm going to get the tickets probably this weekend.
Cool.
And then so we'll just go up there that Tuesday, go to the hockey game. That's all we're doing. And then Wednesday's the con and everything. So
come check us out either around New Mexico or Board Game Geek Con, and come say hi.
Yep, exactly.
So let's get into today's episode. We're doing a board game breakdown of Dutch auctions.
Which is weird. We haven't done a mechanism before. But then we were looking at some other mechanisms before we did this one.
Yeah.
And we were like, no.
Right.
No.
Like one of the smaller ones, right? We were like, okay, let's do rondelles. It's like 500 games. We're like, no, that's not happening. Let's do Mancala. It's like 300 mechanism games. So we're like, nah, that's not happening. And then we just like, well, I don't think there's going to be too many like mechanisms that are realistically that rare. Maybe there's a few like very specific ones, but according to Board Game Geek, because this is where we break them down, Board Game Geek has the listing of all of the ones that we want to go through.
Yeah, and so the definition of a Dutch auction is a simultaneous single bid system in which the lots start at a very high price and then is gradually decreased by the auctioneer or other controlling mechanisms until someone agrees to claim the item at its current price, ending the auction. The first bidder is to accept the current price is the winner, such as there are no ties. A Dutch auction is sometimes also called a one-bid auction because of this feature that the first bid made is the only bid in the auction.
Now, what's cool about this mechanism, and I don't know how many it'll show, like when we actually break them down, but there's like two ways to do it. The one that it mainly shows is kind of like a sliding card mechanism where the first card is normally free or very discounted. Then you have the second card, third card, fourth card, fifth card, and they increase in price as they go. But it's kind of like a card river. You buy one, the rest of them shift out and become cheaper. But I've seen this in a few games where it's a live auction, where you're dealing out the cards, and then eventually someone like stops them, and then they just take what it is.
Yeah.
Or like the price gradually comes down. It starts at $100, $80, $60, $50, $40, $30, and then as soon as somebody says stop, that's how much they pay for it. And it's this real level of intensity as you're playing.
Yeah. There's kind of one, I don't think it's tagged in this, the Dutch auction, where it's kind of like that in Abyss, but it increases in price as it's going, so it's not really a true Dutch auction, but it's like, okay, I'm pushing my luck, see what's going to happen here, anybody going to buy this? No, here, okay, here's the pro, I'm going to stop that, and then you keep going and stuff like that, and then it becomes more expensive as you go, but it's kind of like that in reverse.
Right, exactly. Like, Raw is a good example. We talked about that in the episode. Like, you're kind of going bigger and bigger until eventually somebody goes, okay, we're doing this. Like, I'm taking this. I'm doing the auction. Or there's another Grinder Knizia card game called SWAT that does that as well. Like, you can only ever win, like, 3 sets of cards, but you're just dealing them out, and everyone's just watching what you're dealing, and eventually you go, okay, it's mine.
Yeah,
and
the thing is,
I love it.
With Small World Illuminous, I think it's a different style of auction, because I didn't see it on the list here, and I think it's because it doesn't decrease in price. The things get more expensive as you go, because people are putting money on it to take something else.
Which is interesting, because you're, like, increasing the value of what's been passed up.
Yeah.
And so, in a way, it's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
But with that being said, there is 52 games, mostly, that we're going to kind of talk about. Some of them are promos and stuff like that. But I have a lot of stuff pulled up for it. We're going to be starting with Show Manager from 1996.
Ooh. Show Manager. All right. This is from Dirk Hen, so, of course, already going to be interesting how
Queen
how
Games,
it works.
no less,
Queen
too.
Games. Hire the best cast you can find for a series of international theater productions. Cool idea. You're a show producer.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I would play it just on Dirk Hen. Oh, Spiel's recommended 1997. I'm in. Let's do it. We had a great discovery of that just the other day playing Fresco.
Oh,
Woo!
yeah, that was a fun one. For some reason, I gronked those 2 games, too. That was
you rocked it, man.
I don't normally win games, and yet I won both of those, so...
Yeah.
All right, well, you want to talk about this one real quick?
Yeah. So players put together a show in any shows in any order. To accomplish this, players draft cards from a constantly changing queue of cards. Each card represents actors of varying skills at roles. Once a player puts together all the needed roles for the show, the value is judged against all other productions of that type, with points given to relative to the other productions.
So, sounds pretty interesting. I mean, for 1996, this might be like a newer version of it, but it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, doesn't look bad at all.
All right, next game we're going to be talking about here is Das Collier from 2000. Win gems and auctions with the goal of creating the most valuable necklace. Designer of Andre Frobel and Schmidt Spiel, so good company there. Yep. From the Rolls translation, which is Das Collier is the necklace. Through buying of gems, everyone composes a precious necklace as possible. As precious a necklace as possible. The player with the most valuable necklace wins.
And it won a first place prize in a contest that you're going to tell us the name of it right now.
That word right there for our video users.
For our video, I mean, that's a lot of word.
That's a lot of letters.
That's a lot of letters.
And it's a game about making necklace out of gem cards. Each player starts with money as gems and is displayed their auction off. 2 different types of auctions exist. The conventional one where prices rise and work in the opposite direction, for which prices are fixed by the auctioneer.
Cool.
So that's kind of neat.
Yep.
Hey, we were talking about Knizia. I think this is the first one here.
All right. Let's take a bet. Hold on. Before we do this, how many Knizias do you think you're going to see in this? I'm going to say 8.
I can't take that bet because I know what's on here.
Oh, I'm going to guess 8 and we'll see how close I am. All right. Anyway, you keep count. 3 to 5 players, merchants of Amsterdam, trade for sugar, gems, spices, and silk to become the richest merchant in Amsterdam. And I think this is Merchant of the Stars that Allplay is remaking.
Merchants, no, it's called Merchants of something else. I don't think it's the Stars, yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like this
I have it pulled up later on. So
yeah, so Merchants of Amsterdam players are attempting to be the first or second place majorities in a variety of categories throughout the game. These include commodity markets, trading colonies, and warehouses in Amsterdam. Player's turn, draws 3 cards and decides how to resolve them. For the turn, a player can either remove the card from the game, keep it for him or herself, or put it up for auction. The card allows players to advance 1 place in the markets or in various categories. So this is the kind of game where you have those 3 choices, and the Dutch auction is the latter of those 3 choices.
Yes. And what I have to say, though, that's a cool piece.
That is a really cool piece. Oh, that's a timer. Oh, that's cool. So that's the price. It's literally the Dutch auction. That's cool.
That board is not good, though.
Nope. It ain't great. But that piece is so good.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat. We will see the new upgraded version from AllPlay, which is going to be a much smaller box than what I'm seeing here.
I hope it has that timer. Let's find out.
All right, going into the next one here is Atlantic Star, which is the re-implementation of Show Manager, which we talked about at the beginning. This is another one by Queen from 2001. The difference is here, the theme has changed to cruising. Here the players are traveling by sea. The mechanics are otherwise almost identical.
Cool.
So this time you went from creating TV shows or movies to a cruise. I kind of like the movie theme better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you.
All right, here's one for you.
Vegas Showdown. We are familiar with this game, aren't we?
Yeah.
Henry Stern. This is from Avalon Hill and a number of other places. Wizards of the Coast, Renegade.
Renegade
they've remade it.
The most recent one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This was the one I had, wasn't it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the paper one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, terrible, Matt. Oh my goodness. So, players complete to build the most famous hotel/casino. Room tiles represent slot machines, lounges, restaurants, and other casino-related places. Appear on a central board, and the players hold auctions to win the rights to have those rooms in their building, garnering them income.
It is a proper sentence.
I'm just that
it just seems weird, but it's a proper sentence.
Population or fame. Okay, I get what it's trying to say. Got it.
That's what I'm saying.
Bidding wars escalate, values fluctuate, and designers renovate. Another rhyming. Until finally the hotel casinos are put to the test to determine who's garners the most fame.
That is a typo.
I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I need to take a break.
Yeah. Though this game is actually quite fun.
It's a really fun game.
Yeah.
Just don't go by a description.
All right, and the next game on our list here is Through the Ages, A Story of Civilization. And again, we have the later one later on. That's the one I have played. I haven't played this one. But what's interesting about this specific game is that this was made because the person who wanted to play a Civ game in board game form, Vlada Chavato, wanted to do Civilization. And so that's why Sid Meier is actually a character in this game.
Yeah.
So this one's really neat. Your civilization building game. Each player attempts to build the best civilization through careful resource management, discovering new technologies. And the Dutch auction on this one is the stuff that's coming down in the ages category. So like your leaders, your monuments, your resources, like farms and stuff like that are coming down a little tableau. And that's what's causing the Dutch auction.
Yeah.
So it's right here is where it will be coming. Oh, I'm not showing anybody this video. There we go. This is where it's going to be coming down right here. And so you're going to see the Dutch auction just based on this resources, but this is a resource management thing. You got to make sure you have the population, the food to feed the population. You have to make sure you have the right kind of, it's not economy. There is money in the game. It's science. You need to make sure you have the right kind of science. So this is the first version of it, which people say was good, but it was a little long. But they kind of streamlined it. But the new Civilization is still pretty long.
Yeah.
So, but it's still a fun game.
Also, it's worth pointing out that mechanism specifically, you'll see that later on. Like, that exactly how that is.
The which one?
The one that Through the Ages, this version of Through the Ages is exactly that card river.
Yeah.
That's going to be, I'm pointing that out for a reason right now.
Well, yeah, you're also going to see it in the new Civilization too.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right. Next game on our list here is
Sobek. So Sobek pick the best items and sell them for the most profit. So again, it has a Dutch auction. That's kind of a big thing. Bruno Catala, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, but it's also a 2-player game, so.
It is. Is it only 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So the idea is ancient Egypt. The temple of Sobek is being built and the marketplace is thriving. Loads of goods arrive by ship for the construction site and the race to pick up the best items before they sell with the most profit. Of course, with so much at stake, not all moves are legal. Corruption is everywhere and cordially scarce. And cordiality. What is with all these words that are just... Why am I getting the heart... Anyway.
Cordiality scarce.
Scarce. Because in the end, there can only be one winner. Of course there can only be one winner. But yeah, this one, I've I've been wanting to play this for a really long time.
Pentasaurus has a new version of it that's really, really nice. But yeah,
Yep.
it says 2 to 4 here, but the Pentasaurus version is 2 players only.
Yep.
Yeah, see? Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. They made the Pentasaurus, that's why I think it's as a 2-player.
And the 2-player only is a very different one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So back 2 players is a very different one.
All right, moving on to the next game here from Quinted Games is Firenze by Andres Stedding. Artist Michael Menzel.
Yep.
In this one, in the Florence of 12th and 14th century, the city is powerful and influential families do not compete with each other in trade and politics. They try to outdo one another by building tall, mostly square-based tower homes as status symbols. In Firenze, you are master builders working on families' construction commissions for such towers. Each player competes to earn the most prestige points by completing the commissions from families in the church by placing their seals on the work they have done. When someone plays their final seal, the other builders get one more turn before the final scoring. Colored bricks are the currency of the game, and cards can both help and hinder your progress. On a turn, a player must choose a card from the display, taking the bricks from it and playing a brick to every card skip. So, a la Small World. Yep. There's an opportunity to exchange 3 bricks for 1 on display before other workers in the construction site. Players have multiple towers under construction at once. However, for every brick they wish to add on a turn, there is an extra cost. If any towers are not built upon turning during a turn, then they are torn down and abandoned construction. Wow, this one's mean.
Yep.
This also won second prize on that long word we talked about earlier.
No, that's a different one. That is a different one.
It's the same area, though.
Yeah, it's also Hippo Dice, right?
Yeah.
But that one, the other one said Spiel, and this is author, so this is the design part of it specifically. Yeah.
Those towers look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here's a view of them.
Yeah, I mean, the board is nice.
Yeah.
I actually really like that board.
For an older board, it's actually not too bad. Here's some of the components there.
Standard chevron pieces, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here's one that you love.
Yeah, and this is the reason I pointed that out. Copycat. What Copycat
Because they're a copycat.
That's literally it, right? So it says, hustle your way through smiling, corrupt bureaucracies to become president. So it's a deck builder. Also, it's part Through the Ages, and it's part a few other games. So, a Copycat, or as it is known in German, Fremde Verden, which means roughly to adorn oneself with borrowed plumes, which basically just means like, oh yeah, I'm going to borrow somebody else and I'm going to make it myself look that much better. It's borrowing elements from well-known Euro games and constructing a new game out of them. So he gave honors to a lot of the different companies when he was making this. So Copycat is deck-building game, worker placement, drafting race game. Politician who tries to gather enough money and influence to become the next president. Of course, you depend on the work of the others to get your needed influence. You start with a set of 10 cards, 7 of which are fatherly friends, which each give you 1 money, and 1 money each, and 3 of them yield 1 influence each. Victory points. Where does that come from? 7 1 money cards and 3 influence victory point cards. Dominion, of course. And each round you draw 5 cards from your deck and use them. One card. I'm messing up the easy words now. 1 card for the turn order to place your workers. Your workers go to different office spaces in the government building and buy new cards which you get influence to carry out actions. Each round there is one more space. There's one more space you can choose the number of place to place your workers. On the game board there's a row of cards which you can buy. Each round and empty spaces are row filled and divided into 4 different ages. Gee, I wonder how that works. Last cards of the deck are dectorial degrees, which you could buy for money, which give you 1 victory point each for each unit of money spent. The game ends when all dectorial degrees are bought and when one player has 95 or more victory points. So
Doctoral.
Doctoral.
You kept saying like dictator, dictoral.
Dictoral. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're essentially buying your presidency. That's kind of dictatorship, right?
That cover is
Freedom and Freeze.
Oh my god.
Which is hilarious.
No.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the point, right? It's supposed to be satirical on theme, but it's also using the fact that he's taking certain well-known mechanisms and putting together into a brand new game, and then just using that theme as part of it.
Yeah, but that, oh man,
it's his take on like the Hope cover, right? You know, like the design for President Obama. It's Freedom in Freeze's face, but it's all in green because that's what he does.
Yeah, but it's just, oh man.
I know you're gonna keep hating it. I know you're not.
No, this art is rough.
Oh yeah, totally.
We just played a Friedman Freeze game last week. So.
Yeah, I know you're warming up to him a little bit.
No, I've liked 3 games of his so far.
That's 3 more than you did like last year. All right, so.
No, that's 2 more than I did last year.
Right.
Because I've already liked Fast Slots.
So that was 100% increase. Now another 200% increase.
Yeah, but he's still running in the negatives right now.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying, I actually really enjoyed my play of this. I thought it was really clever. I thought it was a cool, fun, like combination of mechanisms from games I already enjoyed. And it worked really well for me. So.
All right, moving on to the next game. Speaking of a game I don't really care for, Suburbia. From Ted Alspach from Bezier Games. What does it say here? Expand your meager neighborhood into a sprawling suburb to attract the most citizens. Plan, build, and develop a small town into a major metropolitan using hex-shaped building tiles to add residential, commercial, civic, and industrial areas as well as special points of interest that provide benefits and take advantage of the resources of nearby towns. Our goal is to have your borough thrive and end up with a greater population than any of your opponents. It's a tile-laying game, which is something you love. It has some interesting economic engines to it with the infrastructure as well, the self-sufficiency. I don't remember the Dutch auction on this one, though.
It's literally the tiles are across the board. The board decreases, same as a lot of the others.
Okay. Complete several goals. I'm fine with this game. I'd rather play like Quadropolis or something like that. Sure. You are a big fan of it, so if you want to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really smart game just because a lot of the things that you're trying to do, you're trying to get the most population. You build up that population by, putting these buildings down that all do kind of work very similarly together. Mm-hmm. The way they come out through ages, they get better and better, but there's different types, some work off of others, and they make sense. Like, if you put a park next to an industrial plant, it's going to be negative points for you because, people don't want to live or spend their time like next to something that creates pollution or something that's aesthetically unpleasant, or they don't want to have like noise causing problems and stuff.
You don't want your neighborhoods near an industrial park and stuff like that. It makes sense what it's trying to do.
Yeah, and one of the things that I do like about it is that you're building up this system of population, which is it's kind of like a meter, and every one of your turns you gain that much population, and so it's just going to keep building and building and cascading more. And so even though there could be swings in that, there's really good ways of having it like compound based on what tiles you're getting. I think it's really clever.
I think it's fine. My big issue with Suburbia is the AP. They're like, I've played this multiple times with different groups, basically the same group, minus give or take a few players here and there. The AP in this game is ridiculous. I sit there and go, is it my turn yet? This is one of the games is the reason why I put a baseball game or something in the background. Is when we played this one. It's like, okay, it's going to take forever for my next turn, so let me just... Oh, okay.
You check out worse than I do sometimes.
Well, it's just because the AP in this game is ridiculous. It'll be like 15 minutes before it gets back to me. And that's one of the reasons why I get taken out of this game so much. It wasn't as bad the second time we played it, because I think we just played someone's deluxe copy of it. And it was fine. Nothing I need, though.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next game here.
8 Minute Empire by Ryan Lockett. So this game, build an empire that eclipses your rivals in just 8 minutes. That's a lie, by the way. It is not 8 minutes. It's not short. I mean, it's not long. It's more like 10, 15, but it's not 8 minutes.
It's based on the player count, too.
Yeah, it is based on the player count, which, again, is not 8 minutes. So, no, it's a fine game. The quick game that implements the civilization exploration theme using a one-card driven area control by placing armies and cities in a small map, and set collection. So it has set collection, area control, Dutch auction, all that stuff. I haven't played this in a long time, so I don't remember how the auction works in it, but,
I think they're re-implementing this one more recently now, with or at least kind of using a lot of this stuff with the newest one that went on Kickstarter or Game Found recently called Six Sojourns.
Okay.
And I think this is the one that is kind of based off of it.
Sure.
Because it's talking about 2 more right here on the re-implemented by... So, Six Sojourns. This is the new one that is coming out that they were saying that it's based off 8-Minute Empire.
Interesting.
So I am going to play this one because I backed it, but I have not played 8-Minute Empire. We actually saw this one, 8-Minute Empire Legends, at our most recent Bookman runs, but apparently that's an expansion, if I was thinking. Or it was an expansion to this one specifically that we saw there. But the next game on the list, we both love. Concordia. This is a fantastic... In fact, you can go check out our review of this game on our YouTube channel. We enjoy this one a lot.
And the fact that it's Ascended, no less.
Yeah, it is also Ascended. We immediately played it, and that same year, it became Ascended. So that tells you how good this game is. Basically, 2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire ruled the lands around the Mediterranean Sea with the peace at the borders, harmony inside the provinces, uniform law, and common currency. The economy thrived and gave rise to the mighty Roman dynasties as they expanded throughout the numerous cities and guides of these dynasties to send the colonies to remote realms of the empire to develop your trade network and appease the ancient gods for their favor. What I like about this one is everything's... You're going to get points no matter what. You have like a little bit of an area control aspect of the game because you're building out from Rome and trying to control the thing to get the resources here. This is your Dutch auction right here. All the new cards that you're going to basically put in your deck is coming in through here. And it has one of my favorite mechanisms. Action retrieval. So every time you play a card, it stays down until you play a specific card that says you can bring it back up. I love that aspect of this game.
Smart.
It is fantastic. The board is okay. It's trading in the Mediterranean, which is the theme a lot of people are getting kind of tired of.
Yep.
But this actually put a designer on the map for us, Matt Gertz, to the point where you brought over one of the ugliest games I have ever seen, and we love that one too. It had an itty bitty little itty bitty little bell in it too.
Yeah, it has a little bells. Hamburgum.
But yeah, no, Concordia is a fantastic game. I have the Concordia Venus edition where it has the base game plus one of the expansions in there. I adore this game. I think the Dutch auction works really well because it gives you really cool cards. Most of the cards are unique. I think there's a few that kind of share each other, and everybody has the same cards in their hand to begin with. I love the resource management where it's like, ooh, do I get the resource or do I wait till it flips where I can get all the coins and flip it back to the resources, and that little push and pull to get yourself like money or resources. And then, yeah, it's a neat game where you're trying to get like a little bit of area control, a little bit of making sure you're doing economically just to get your points. A little bit of point salad too, because you can get your points pretty much anywhere, however you want to do it. So it is a neat game.
Very good. Next one is Dreaming Spires, which I'm not familiar with, but I do like the cover on there. Although I don't like the look of what those cards or the board is looking like.
I don't think this is a full game. I don't think it completely came out. Because there's not a lot of ratings on it from my understanding.
I mean, 210 ratings and 91 comments. So yeah, it's not insignificant, but build and lead an Oxford college amid eccentric characters and tumultuous events. So it might have been a small print run or something like that. So
who even printed this one?
Game Salute.
And the Secret Game Company.
I've never heard of them.
No. That's because they're a secret. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Lead an Oxford college from the medieval era through the modern day, and eccentric characters and tumultuous events of Oxford's history are brought to life in cards featuring original illustrations, famous quotes, and amusing written accounts. Dreaming Spires. Players each build a college of Oxford University out of the building tiles, placed according to simple rules. Tiles display whole icons and half and quarter icons. Ugh. I've never been a fan of that. Which can be placed one another to complete whole ones. These icons represent the benefits of your college, beauty, academic status, and sociability. Famous men and women of Oxford can be admitted to your college, and it has relevant benefits to attract them. Okay, yeah, so you get abilities, you get bonuses, whatever, right?
Let's look at these cards real quick.
Yeah, let's look at those cards.
Oh, I mean, these are famous people.
Yep.
But, man.
You know, I was excited for this. Now, you know what? I would still play it, but yeah,
I would try it, but this is not a good-looking game.
Yeah, that ain't great.
It's just cubes, some little cardboard pieces
for coins. That board looks like
homework,
homework, you know. Yeah. Simple tiles, but still.
I'm trying to see like the pictures of the tiles that they
Those
were
are
talking about. Yeah, I know those. I'm a closer.
they're
picture
literally
of them.
just like bland tiles with like some colors and some half cut off cards.
Oh man, that does not look good right there. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play it just to play it, but oof. All right, next game we're going to talk about in the Dutch auction mechanism is Dales of Merchant. Learn new techniques, trade goods, and manage your stock to build the master stall. Sami Lasko? Why does that name sound familiar?
I don't know.
It's an age of great discovery. New and wonderful items find their way into the hands of the greatest merchants, and if there's ever a place those traders love, it's in the town of Dale. Extraordinary guild in the Dale, founded by great merchants. The tricky part is getting membership, since one must win the annual trading competition to be invited to the guild. Oh, guild's a merchant. Okay, yeah, no, this is he's like Lanza Galzier. I think he's around that kind of style. I think I have like a deck building game of his over on my shelf of shame. Dale's a Merchant. Players take the roles of participating merchants, learning new techniques, trading goods, and managing their stock. The player who first manages to complete their astounding merchant stall wins the game and gets access to the guild. So it's intriguing. Oh yeah, there it is. Dale's a Merchants, the Guild of Extraordinary Traders is the full name of it. Got some decent artwork. I've always wanted to try it. I've heard decent things about the game, but I'm just not.
That little raccoon character looks pretty awesome.
It's like you when you're always conniving stuff in board games. But yeah, it seems pretty cool, but haven't played it. Speaking of one we have played, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it just slightly, because it's Through the Ages. This is the one we have played. It's supposed to be more streamlined, more easily to understand. Still a very long game, but it's still one of my favorites in my collection. But it, like I said, it was just a reprint of Through the Ages, A Story of Civilization. Yep. This is the new story with some upgraded components and just more streamlined than the original. And what
overall, really fun experience to play.
Yeah, what I find funny about this one is they made Through the Ages, and then they made Nations. And he's like, "Oh, I can fix that." And then he made this one, which kind of kicked Nations out. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is better than Through the Ages." And he's like, "Hold on, hold my beer," and made this one, which is a better version of Nations, to the point where, after playing both, I got rid of Nations because this one is just more strategic and streamlined and looks prettier.
Yep.
Also has a really good app. So if you want to try the game out, try the app. It is fantastic and takes care of all the fiddly stuff that drives you insane. So
the Wimbly Bimbly stuff.
The Wimbly Bimblies. All right, so this one you can talk about.
All right, PAX Renaissance. Gave me the boring one, huh? Phil Eklund and Matt Eklund.
I'll give you the next one, too.
Madre. Okay, thank you.
You'll like the next one.
I might, actually.
No, you will.
No, I know. Well, yeah, of course I will. Yeah, I love that one. Shrewd Renaissance bankers sway 15th and 16th century European powers for personal gains. Why else would you, right?
My only issue with this is 2015 or 2016. Look at that cover. Who is going to look at that and go, "Ooh, I got to play that game"?
Yeah, exactly. Like, even the guy on the cover looks bored, right? You know?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to be here. What makes you think people want to play? Anyway, so as a Renaissance banker, you'll finance kings or republics, sponsor voyages or of discovery, join secret cabals, or unleash jihads and inquisitions. Your choices determine whether Europe is elevated to the bright modern era or remains festering in dark feudalism. You are very important. Apparently. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to be acquiring cards from a market, as in other PAX games. So this is one of the first in the series of PAX. I know Premier is probably going to come up pretty soon.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, that's probably the most well-known one. As in other games, you acquire a card from the market, sell them out of the game, or play them into your tableau. You can also stimulate the economy by running trade fairs and trading wars for Oriental goods. Map of Europe, trading routes, all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that description sure doesn't describe it well.
That board doesn't do it any justice.
No. Did you see that other cover that it showed as well?
Let me go over here. This one?
No. If you go back, there was another cover that just didn't help. That one.
Oh, my God. He looks less bored.
He's less bored. And that's...
That's a collector's edition, too.
No, the skull... specifically is the skull of the person who made him play that game. No. But look at the cover, though. That's cool looking. Like the corner.
Yeah. No, like I said,
neat.
it's not. This is a much better cover than the one we were just like. This one. This is the one that's like does not intrigue me at all.
No.
The game looks fine.
What is going on there? Oh, that's a 3D printed case. Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought that was what was in it. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? All right, cool.
But oof, yeah, that is the cards. I guess is like a.
To make up the board, maybe.
I don't know if it's cards, but
that's the map.
Yeah, that's the map. It is not a looker.
No.
Well, so that was PAX Renaissance.
Yep.
Here, you can have this one.
Phew, Century Spice Road. Yes. Wow, this was only like 2 years after that last one.
Yeah.
Look at that cover, people.
Emerson
Look
Matsuuchi.
at that. Emerson Matsuuchi, Plan B Games. Oh my god, this is one of them pretty games. Yeah, this one, Century Spice Road, we've always been a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
You are trading in the Silk Spice Road. First of a series of 3 games that are all combinable, that are explores the history through his blah, blah, blah. The mechanism is where this game is about. And
action retrieval.
Yeah, it's action retrieval as well. But what makes this differently is that it's not that it's decreasing. It's that you have to pay the cards prior to whichever one you get to take it. Which, again, is, I guess, technically also a Dutch auction.
Yeah.
Kind of. Again, there's a lot of different ways they can do that. So, as you're adding more stuff to the other options, it's making it more valuable or less negative.
Yeah. We do like this game a lot. This is a gorgeous game. I have one issue with this game, and you have the same issue with its other version of it, which I'm going to pull up here in a minute, is that I can't see these cubes very well, but you can't see the gems very well in the Century Golem edition. But the artwork is fantastic. It is really neat how this game works. How quick it plays, too. It's not like an overly done game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the next one I want to talk about just real quick, just to give you a little reference point, is the other version we just talked about, Century Golem Edition, plays exactly the same thing, has 3 versions, they all intermix, but this one uses gems rather than the cubes. Still kind of hard for you, not as hard for me, but I have a
that
trouble.
picture isn't doing it justice to where, because those are transparent cubes.
That
that is like highlighter on the picture. When you see it in real life, it is a lot harder to see.
Yeah, but all in all, both these Century games, fantastic games, really well done.
Yeah, love them both.
Next game on the list is Majesty from Marc Andre, which is just re-implemented recently by Studio H called Middle Ages.
Yep. And Marc Andre from Splendor fame.
Splendor fame, yep. The crown is up for grabs to whoever can build the richest domain and seize it from their rivals. It takes a whole kingdom's worth of people to accomplish this monumental task. Rally your citizens, grow your power, and reign supreme in majesty for the realm. A game of strategically selecting who you want to work your lands, set during the Middle Ages. Each game you recruit characters to perform jobs that generate gold for your kingdom. From the humble miller to the elegant noble, all your loyal subjects will play decisively roles in your new kingdom. And so what's neat about this game is it's not really... it might be a Dutch auction in this one. I think it's changes in the new game, Middle Ages, because... I don't remember a Dutch draft in there, because it's basically, I'm taking this tile, this is what's going to happen. And it's King Domino style when it comes to that part. So I think maybe this is the Dutch draft in this game. But in Middle Ages, I just remember the King Domino aspect of it. But this game was really neat. I don't know how this one, it plays differently from the re-implementation. But the artwork is fine. For 2017, yeah. Studio H's looks a lot better with the Middle Ages. This was recommended in 2018 for the Spiel des Jahres.
Oh, okay.
So that always intrigues you. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Middle Ages just to show everybody what this one looks like. Yep. Yeah, see, and they have it as open drafting now. So I guess they took the Dutch auction out and went into the open drafting aspect of it. Yeah. But yeah, this one is gorgeous comparative. So.
Yeah.
But it's really neat because what you're doing is you're going to build it and you're trying to have the most of something in Middle Ages. And I think it's the same way in the other one because they're going to trigger different things and you're going to get your points based on what they're triggering. So if I have the most towers, I'm taking stuff away from everybody else. But it's really neat. I do love this version of it. I do want to pick... This is a Damn It Dom game. I want to pick up a version of this one.
Cool.
Here you go.
All right, Senators.
This is indie boards and cards too.
What are you doing to me here, Nick? No.
Hey, this is how
it laid.
2017.
I do want to get the next one because I have played it. All right, so use underhanded tactics within the Senate in order to become Rome's next Caesar, also known as stabbing the guy. All right, so it is the late Republic period of Rome, and you are the leader of one of the factions of the city, competing for power in the Senate. You are increasing your wealth by buying up resources, then using position to sell them for state for fat profits. With the resulting cash, you then buy more senators. Remember, we do not buy people.
No, you're just bribing them to control the vote.
You're buying the controlling yet more votes in the Senate. Rome is constantly in conflict, and you may know that at some point wars will increase to the point that the Senate will choose to centralize power and appoint a single leader. At that moment, the leader of the faction with the most senators will be made Caesar. So, that description doesn't exactly show how the Dutch auction works, but judging by that picture that we're about to look at, it's pretty clear that, you know, the I'm assuming the cards is more or less just laid down, and that's how you buy them.
Yeah, sure.
No, that's probably a round marker, a victory point marker.
It is not a good looking game, let me tell you.
No,
my issue
that's
with
better. But...
Yeah, my issue with this game is that what age are you? Is it supposed to be like Julius Caesar era or era of the year of the 5 emperors? What era?
It says the next Caesar, so I'm assuming Julius Caesar, but I don't know that.
Well, no, Caesar ended up being the imperator and stuff like that. So it just depends because they all called them their leader Caesar at one point. Julius Caesar's name wasn't Julius Caesar. He took up a name.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Sure.
Here's the next game for you.
Orbis. And yeah, there's a reason I wanted to do this because I wanted to show how this is a very different... Have you played this one?
Nope.
Okay, it's not colorblind friendly. That's why I got rid of it. Otherwise, I think I would have kept it because it does very much hurt to play. So, build a world fit for the gods by nabbing tiles and enlisting your worshippers. They are hexagonal tiles that you're going to be bidding on, but when they come out in a 3x3 grid. The 3x3 grid is how you bid, and the way you do it is by picking one of the tiles up, and then all of the adjacent ones, like you'll notice on the top of each of these tiles, is what kind of resources it needs in order to play the tile onto your board. But how you get the tiles, since all those colors correspond to the tiles themselves, when you pick up a tile, all the adjacent ones gets a cube of that color. So if I pick this blue one over here on the right, then the one above, below, and to the left of it will then get a blue cube, and I get any cubes that are on top of that one in addition. So you're trying to get the cubes that you want to pay for the tiles that you have, but you're also trying to pick the right tiles to pay for the cubes, and if you happen to pick up a tile that has a cube on it that corresponds to it, you can use it to pay for that right away.
Nice.
It was a really clever mechanism, but if you also look at those tiles, you'll notice that the squares that are on top in that little diamond shape are also about a millimeter square, and they are not differentiated by any color. Well, they are by the color, but I mean, you can't look at that as a colorblind person and really feasibly see the differences of the colors too well. Thank you for zooming into like microscopic levels. Now we can finally see it.
Yeah.
That would be the equivalent of me literally holding the tile directly to my eye.
Yeah. So it is a bit rough.
That was the only reason I got rid of it. I did actually really enjoy it. I liked that mechanism. I don't know that I would call that Dutch auction, but maybe exploding resources. But it is kind of, right? It's non-linear, right?
All right, moving on to the next one here. We have Tea Time, which is not really out, but I did want to pull it up just to collect first all the ingredients for your desserts. This was supposedly going to be 2018. There's no votes on it. It's an educational game, apparently, about making recipes. I don't know. They have it on the list. I put it up there just to pull it out, just to see.
Okay, cool.
Here's one for you.
Oh, you can take this one.
PAX Premier 2nd Edition from Cole Worley. We talked about PAX Renaissance. This is PAX Premier. Players assume the roles of the 19th century Afghan leaders attempting to forge a new state after the collapse of Durrani, the Durrani Empire. Western histories often call this period the Great Game because of the role played by the Europeans who attempted to use Central Asia as a theater for their own rivalries. In this game, those empires are viewed strictly from the perspective of the Afghans who sought to manipulate the interloping Ferengi, foreigners, for their own purposes. It's pretty straightforward. Tableau builder. Players spend most of their turns purchasing cards from the central market, then playing those cards in front of them in a single roll called a court. Playing cards adds units to the game map, grants access to additional actions that can be taken to disrupt other players and influence through the course of the game. The last point is worth emphasizing, though. Everyone is building their own rows of cards. The game offers many ways for players to interfere with each other directly and indirectly. So this is almost like a diplomacy meets a board game.
Right.
The actual with area majority and influence, area movement. So we saw a copy of this recently, and it looked really interesting, but I am very hesitant when it comes to Cold Warly games. I know Damn It Dom was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And both you and me are like, ooh. Because I've never played Root, but it looks interesting. But I have played Vast, and I wasn't a big fan of how difficult that game can be.
Yeah.
And this one looks a little rough, too.
And look at how much words are on that card.
Yeah. That's another thing, too. It is a very text-heavy. And this is the map that I'm showing to everybody. It is like a little rollout map. This is the main map right here of like the Afghan area. But wow, some of these cards are heavy in text. Mm-hmm. Some really cool pieces, though. I really like the pieces. Yeah,
those are fantastic. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would not say no to playing it, but and then Illumina says this is a premier solo game. My thing is, I don't want to play a solo game that's going to take me 4 hours.
Well, maybe it's like 4 hours for like 2 to 4 players, and solo it's like 30 minutes.
Here we go. I pulled up a card that has like a lot of text on there. Doesn't look like it's telling you like the action. It's more like historical text.
Sure.
So that's what it looks like to me. I think these are all the action. It's also iconography heavy. So
sure. But I'd be willing to try it. I've been always wanting to. So.
Yeah, I want to try it. It looks interesting, but I just don't want to pay the price for it either.
Right. Makes sense.
Here you go.
All right, Moonbots by Frank Koderk.
Blue-orange.
Koderk. Huh? Blue-orange, okay. All right, I'm a little intrigued. Came out 6 years ago, so let's see. The Grand Annual Moonbots Tournament is gearing up to start. The most gifted scientists in the galaxy are gathering on the moon to face off against one another. You'll have to step up your ingenuity because in this competition you can only use salvage parts to build your fighter robot. Use the energy wisely and rain down blows on your opponents to win the merciless mechanical battle. This also has a 3x3 grid. Looks like in the middle. It looks like it almost might be a very similar mechanism to like the Orbis one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm speculating on that, but I believe. Oh no, it has dice. Okay, so. Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would... Oh, you're actually upgrading the components of the robot. That's fun. I'd be curious to try it.
It looks interesting.
I don't think it's one that I would buy. But
no. You might find it like at a
if I found it at a thrift store for $5, I'd buy it
Yeah.
and play it and maybe keep it.
All right, next game on our list here is Code Belgique. It's another one that just kind of popped up from the same person.
Same company, too.
Which is Cold Belgium, but... I don't know if he ever got it in there, so at least the guy's trying it. Puts it on Board Game Geek. So.
Yeah, props to them.
3 to 8 players? Okay. All right, the next game on the list here is another one that just... I popped these up because I thought it was interesting that they're on here, but...
The dentist game. So you want to become a dentist and run your own dental clinic? Not as much. What are your thoughts on dental games?
No, thank you.
Not a fan?
No.
So I found recently, like, 2 of them. I heard about them. There's, like, a 2-player called Goblin Dental, and there's another one called Goblin Teeth.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, next up is a good game here that I enjoy playing. In fact, I got a big box version of it up there behind Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is Canvas. I do like the Dutch auction on this one, trying to get the Illuminus over here. I'd rather want a fast food chain. You're basically creating artworks. You're trying to get these canvas pieces. That is not it. That's the award winners there. There. That's what I'm looking for there. And they're coming. These cards are coming out in a row, and you're trying to buy them. You're putting stuff on there if you don't want it later on. Kind of like Small World, or what was the other one we talked about? Century. Making it where more people may want to pick that one up because you're trying to make these beautiful artworks and trying to score based on these symbols on the artwork here or by the colors, by the in-game auction kind of, or not auction, but like in-game scoring mechanisms that they have in there. Translucent cards, so you're just putting them in a translucent card, making these fantastic art pieces. It is a fun game. I haven't tried any of the expansions. I actually really do enjoy this game a lot. I was hoping my wife would like it more than she did. She finds it fine. She's more than happy to play it compared to some other games out there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I dig this one. Canvas, you play as a painter competing in an art competition. You collect cards, layering them in layering of 3. So once you completed your card by 3 layers, that's how it works. And it's kind of tricky because you're like using these cards, and where you put them in there is like, do I put it over here because it could end up covering that symbol, or do I want to put it behind it, but then I'm losing that color because it's stashed behind something. It's really neat how this game works. I like this one a lot, and it's one of the more beautiful games out there. Mm-hmm. So much for you could take the main box and put it up as a painting.
Yep, this is really clever. R2I is really intriguing to me. Like I've owned a few of theirs.
This is Tabletop Tycoon now.
Well, it is now, right? But they were the first ones that came up with it. And a lot of their games just like, I love the fact that they're trying to do stuff that nobody else does, which I very much appreciate.
This Fromage, they just did another version
Globetrotting,
yeah.
Yep.
So they have some really neat stuff that they're going on here. I also like the fact that they're doing what Century did with the expansions, make one giant art piece.
Mural, yeah.
It is fantastic looking. But yeah, next one here is one of your favorites.
Foundations of Rome.
Or Metropolis.
Yep. Or Metropolis, yep. Another Emerson Matsuuchi that uses a really smart Dutch auction. Construct buildings and vie for city lots and compete to shape the city of Rome. Beautiful production, great pieces. This city building game, Foundations of Rome, puts you in the role of the architect competing to own land and build magnificent structures. Build domus and insulae, foundations, foundries, and more to increase your renown, gaining glory for yourself and with the Empire. With 96 wonderfully detailed miniatures in the base game, Foundations of Rome is a testament to the glory of Rome and that you could bring to the table.
It is a fantastic game. It looks gorgeous. My issue with is that for how simple this game is, it is stupid expensive.
Yes.
I mean, that looks great. I also have an issue. You see this building right here that I'm showing to the people? If you're facing this side of the board and it's on the main board over here, how am I going to see this when I have something like that in front of it? That kind of thing. It's like, oh, you have to literally stand up and look down over the board just to see where everything is. It is a fantastic game. I love Foundations of Rome. So much so, I bought Foundations of Metropolis. 1, it's a smaller game, and 2, it fits on my table a little bit better.
Right.
But yeah, no, this is a great game. We both love this game. But I'm going to show you the streamlined version of it, Foundations of Metropolis, which is much easier to see on the table. It's like, okay, yeah, there, that's my section, these are like statues and stuff like that. And you can see the buildings there, I can see the number, I'm sitting at this side of the table, and there's nothing in the way, so I can see the little building behind that area. So, if you want, you can get Foundation Metropolis if you want a smaller, more streamlined, well, not streamlined, but a smaller version of the game.
Functionally, it's the exact same
game. Or if you want the pre-game, then hunt down the Foundations of Metropolis or Rome. Both games are fantastic.
Yep.
All right, next game on the list here is actually one I really do enjoy, Creature Comforts. And the Dutch auction really in this game is just there. It is not the most important. This is a worker placement, dice placement game where you're trying to use your animal workers to give yourself enough comfort before winter comes around when you go into like hibernation and stuff like that. The Dutch auction is basically to get creature comforts. And that's one part of the game. I'm trying to see if I can pull up a picture of this. It is either from here, and then there's also here. And this is where it can become cheaper for you, but it's not really all that important in the game. Is that you're just trying to get resources and put them in there to make your life a little bit more comfortable before winter. So say you're getting board gaming and you need to get shelving units, and these are going to give you more more points for the end of the game, or give you like bonus actions and stuff like that. It's fine when it comes to that. The Dutch auction just doesn't really come out. This is straight up a worker placement with dice manipulation. This is what I like it for, because you have your own personal dice and you have these dice, And every location that you put your people at, you do that before you roll the specific dice. So the only dice you know for sure are your personal colors. And then one person is going to roll those dice, and those are shared by everybody. And then you're like, okay, well, I need a 3. You better roll a 3 here. And there is some manipulations based on plus and minuses. But yeah, it is just like you're hoping for certain things that happen, or sometimes your guy doesn't trigger, and then you get like lessons learned kind of pieces where you can start mitigating for the next round. But I do enjoy this one a lot, Creature Comforts.
Cool. Next one is Acropolis by Gigamic Games. This game I actually do own. Again, it's pretty neat. But build your Greek city on multiple levels to keep your districts perfectly placed. The most talented architects in Greece stand ready to achieve this goal. Build houses, temples, markets, gardens, and barracks so you can grow your city and ensure it triumphs over others. Rages prestige with harmonious planning that conforms to specific rules and enhance its building plazas. So what this game works is that you have these hex grids, and each of the tiles are effectively dominoes. Either dominoes or triangles. I forget exactly. They're triangles. And they're really thick cardboard. And it's important because as you're building them, you can never bridge over empty spaces. You're building certain types of buildings next to each other. Each building type scores in different ways. So some you want on the outside, like the barracks, to keep the city safe. Some you want on the inside. Some you want over on different levels. And the points that they score, if they have met their symbol and if they have met their conditions to score, meaning like a barracks is on the outer wall, then it's going to score points equal to how many levels it is. So if it's on the 3rd level, it's 3 points. It's a really clever little game. Works well. You can see that some of them have like stars next to them. Those are multipliers as well, so they're actually worth points. So basically, essentially, you're going to count up like the number of points like each of the building types are worth, multiply by the number of stars. That's your point for that section.
I've been wanting to try this one. This one looks pretty neat.
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet, but I like ancient Greece and stuff like that. So this is intriguing to me.
And this does use that same. You have little white blocks, which are the stone blocks, and that's the Dutch auction. You just place them along the row, and if you take one, then you get all the blocks that are on it.
All right, next game on our list here, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty, is Ancient Merchants, which is really nothing on here. There's no rating for it or something like that. Looks interesting. It looks like it's coming from outside like the U.S. and English-speaking areas. Almost looks like Arabian almost. Transport goods along the Silk Roads.
Yeah.
When the Silk Roads were
cards.
Yeah, when the Silk Road was expanded, trade between different cities was developed. Everyday merchants started to join this trade to achieve money and fame. In this game, the players are playing in the role of merchants who are competing to achieve the place of the best merchants in the world, so they travel to different places and buy goods and participating in the auction. Then they transfer the goods to other places and sell them to achieve the wealth and fame. It looks really well produced for what it is.
Huh. Lots of coins, lots of cards.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Looks fine. Yeah. I mean, I would try it.
I would try it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I just don't know anything about it, really.
Yeah.
Here's another PAX game.
PAX Pamini. Swing the tides of the great game using just 18 cards. It's an 18-card version.
Yeah.
Kind of self-published.
Web published
PAX game. Yeah. Like print and play, which is kind of cool. How many players play? 1 to 2? Okay, cool.
I just figured you would like me to pull this one up.
Sure, yeah. 18-card version of PAX Premier 2nd Edition. Print and play game for free to download. Thanks to Whirligig for generously granting permission to create and post this game. It's a 2-player game, but a solo mode also provides you which you can play against a crafty bot named Mikron. Cool. I mean, I would buy it.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
I know you'd hate it, but I don't mind it.
Just because it's 2-player, is that why I would hate it?
I mean...
All right, next game on the list.
It quacks like a duck.
Next game on the list here is Dutch Flower Auctions.
So, one more preface before we get into this part. This is literally the reason this is called the Dutch auction, because of the Dutch flower auctions that are there. They actually bring groups of flowers into giant warehouses, and they just straight up auction them all off in different ways, and you buy them in bulk. And that's how the vast majority of flower shops, floristry areas, like all of those different stores, in most of Europe sell their stuff is because of this way. It's really interesting. So anyway, sorry, go on.
Dutch Flower Auction is a bidding game where players buy flowers at falling prices. The game has 4 types of flowers and different scoring cards. Players plan to get the flowers and cards they need at best prices. At the end, scores are added up based on the flowers and cards, and the player with the most points wins. Easy rules and smart planning. So this is not. This is designer Zong Ger. Ger. I don't know how to pronounce it in Asian accent. All right, I'm used to Spanish. From Good Game Studios. So it looks interesting. There's not any other imaging here, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was AI art, so we got.
That's Midjourney. Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was another Asian name that I didn't know how to pronounce properly.
I didn't see it until now. And I was like, oh, yep.
Okay, that it makes a whole different story, but yeah.
No.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of flowers,
Floristry, a 2-player board game with Dutch auctions. Quite literally, you're buying like dominoes. I've been curious about this. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
So, tile laying game players complete at the historic Aalsmeer Dutch auction, which is the one that I just referenced earlier, to win the best flowers and then use them to create the most charming window display. Because flower shops only care about how pretty it looks like from the window. Not because they're selling stuff, of course. They don't do that.
But that's why they want it to be pretty, though.
First off, I do want to also point out that there's 2 cat meeples, so I'm kind of out now. Each round features a Dutch auction where the clock counts down from 15 seconds.
Which is funny because he owns 2 cats.
While the price drops every 3 seconds. The unique web app runs your auctions, which I'm okay with that stuff. Mm-hmm. So you can have. I don't own 2 cats. My wife does.
It took him a while.
So you can have to think facts, bid carefully, and pay close attention to what you want at the right price, but also keep an eye on what your rivals needs.
So, based on that, we live in a 50-50 state. You own 1 cat.
I own 2 halves of cats.
You own 1 whole cat.
I own 2 halves of cats.
So here's the cat meeples that we're joking about. Cute.
Sure.
Here's the auction board. I mean, I get it. That kind of looks like a bit of a Quirkle style game.
Yep.
All right, cool. I mean, I've been interested in it. It looks neat.
That picture is great.
All right, and then the next one here is what we were talking about in the beginning, Merchants of Amsterdam, the Merchants of Andromeda. This is the reprint by All Play.
Yeah, this is the one I was thinking it was.
Yeah, so this is the same thing as we were talking about earlier. I just wanted to showcase this. This is much better looking than the original one, but it doesn't have the cool timer.
Yeah, it doesn't have the cool timer. It's probably used as an app.
Yeah, cool components, some fantastic pieces, but it is the version you can find now of Merchants of Amsterdam, which was back in the early 2000s. So that was weird to think. That was like roughly 25 years ago the 2000s started.
Yep.
But it plays the same, only it's base politics now rather than Dutch politics, casting votes in the Senate, bidding, lucratives, and stuff like that. Really neat looking game. I don't see if it is integrated with... It has a real-time economics, so like we were talking about earlier, so I wonder if you have to just find a timer.
Either time or the game's dedicated app.
Oh, okay, it does have a dedicated app. Cool. Moving on to the last 2 games. Here you go.
All right, Gingham. This is by Bitewing Games, and deploy ants on a picnic blanket to connect the stockpile of sweets. Okay. That's intriguing. Okay, the race is on. Ants have found an abandoned picnic blanket ripe with sweets, but there aren't enough for every colony. Gingham is a tricky game of confection connection. In this game, players position their queens around the Gingham picnic blanket and deploy their ants to connect sweets and claim the stockpiles they create. The lead player determines which of the playing areas all players must play on each round. Everyone places their queen next to a row on this edge. Then deploys an ant to the row where they place their queen. Where they place their queen. The catch is that you cannot deploy your ant beyond the stitch in the blanket. The rows closer to the start and at the end of the row offer fewer options. That said, whoever places their queen closest to the star becomes the leader of the next round and places their queen next to a row on any other edge of the play area. Players take play turns in player order or of the queens in the previous row. Do you opt for a better turn, order position, or for next round, or more flexibility for ant placement this round? That does sound quite intriguing.
Yeah. You're connecting matching suite tokens with a line of your ants and surrounding them and claiming stockpiles to get your points. So that's kind of neat. It looks really good. I could tell this is probably like a British person that created this game because they call it a gingham. Yeah. That's a tablecloth is what we call them.
Yep.
So it could be Canadian. But it looks interesting. Like, so you're seeing the little thing here. So they're saying you can't go beyond the stitch. Is this the stitch they're talking about?
That's probably the stitch you're talking about.
So, yeah, you're just trying to stockpile the sweets. Look at that one. That yellow player right there played very efficiently. Got all those sweets right there. All them
cherries. Those yellow cherries. Or is that green?
I think that's just their claim. But because there's cupcakes, pies, cookies are the black pieces. So I think the yellows are just kind of what their stuff is.
Yeah.
But it looks really neat. It's part of their travel line from what I was reading as well. So good stuff there. It looks neat.
Cool.
All right, and the last game on the list is also from Bitewing Games. It comes out in 2026. And invoke legendary deities and battle for control of ancient Ireland. This one is the Battle of Moytura has begun as leaders of the Tuntha de Danann. Spread your influence across the land to succeed in your quest to become the High Ruler of Ireland. And I'm sorry to all the Irish people that I might have offended. You may be of my people, but I do not know your language very well. Invoking the power of deities to aid you in your cause with a command of water, travel, war, and creation. But the road will not be easy. For your path to legend stands the sinister Fomorians and other mythical beings hungry for battle, not to mention a rival clan with ambitions of their own. In this game, you and your opponent command competing factions of the gods, I guess you could say that's what they are, but you're not the only one struggling for control of ancient Ireland. 3 enemy clans act together as a third opponent faction that competes with the players and score points. So there's a dummy player even though you're playing a full thing. That's interesting. Points are gained by having the most influence across ancient Ireland at the end of each era. Within each of the 11 regions, the factions with the most or second most units across all spaces of the region will score the indicated points after 2 eras. For each round, the 2 players in the enemy factions each take turns. On their turn, a player selects a deity tile, possibly spending worship tokens to reach it. So there's your Dutch auction right there. Yep. Then perform the deity's action. When used, the deity tile resets the most expensive position in the tract. Well, okay, that's kind of neat. Deity tiles let players expand their influence of battles of enemies according to the deity's unique ability. And I'm not going to go through all too much of that. It sounds intriguing. It sounds like an area control game. I think I might actually like this one with the Dutch auction on there. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be kind of cool to look at and check it out. But there's no images other than the cover. Comes out next year by Bitewing. I'm wondering if this is going to be a crowdfunded game because that's usually what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crowdfunding, Kickstarter, and it's a 2-player only game. So
interesting.
Maybe you won't check this one out then, apparently, because I hate them.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it sounded interesting until it said 2 players.
No, it's still interesting just because of the Ireland deities. Yeah. You don't really see a lot of that a lot.
No, you really don't. So with that being said, that was it for our Dutch auctions. So again, a very underutilized mechanism. There's a lot of ways you could do it, but it's a really fascinating mechanism. So that was our first and potentially last breakdown of any mechanism.
We'll see. We'll check how this goes. But yeah, there was some interesting games to talk about on there.
Absolutely. Though. So tell us what your favorite was. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these. Which games looked interesting? Which ones you want to look into more? And what games do you think would work with the Dutch auction mechanism? So with that being said, we have an email. If you ever want to email us directly, you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Whether that's to enter in future contests, just to say hello, or give us ideas for future episodes. Also, go to instagram.com/everydayboardgames or search for us on Instagram and find us and follow us there so you can be notified on any of the posts that we make, whether it's the silly stuff or games that we've been playing lately.
And all video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live when it is not terrible weather out at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. Please make sure you follow us there as well, so that way you'll be notified when we stream live. We love our live conversations with all of our viewers. Thank you to Illuminus for stating your opinions throughout today, despite all the technical issues we had.
It wasn't even technical issues, it was weather-related issues.
Still was cutting out.
All audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.